Oh, nice. I don't think I can miss. Hey, he cocked 45 here. Got a SWAT 5.56 classic. Well, it's a classic model. It's a SWAT classic 5.56 from SIG, and it's a really sweet shooter. And I just get the sudden urge to go after something. Yes, quite a sudden urge, and I realize why now, for what it says on the side there. 160th SOAR, and that stands for Special Operations Aircraft Regiment. This firearm, the SIG 5.56 SWAT model, happens to be kind of commemorating that unit. Let's unload it and I'll show you here. Okay, you thought I'd lost my mind, didn't you? Well, you have to have a mind before you can lose it. Okay, we're very clear, and it's important to know that. So this is a SIG 5.56 SWAT model, the classic SWAT, and it's because it has the long forend. The patrol model has a short forend there. Same length barrel, I think, 16 inches, but that's how you differentiate those, as best I know. And it's kind of cool because this unit, and this is their insignia, they are based out of Fort Campbell, almost a stone's throw from me. You know, they come over the house, in fact, quite often. I keep expecting them to use our targets occasionally to practice. They may do that. Maybe they have some kind of war games. They can do that electronically without knocking them over, because they do, well, at least Fort Campbell does. I don't know if it's this unit or not. These are the NightStalkers. These are the famous NightStalkers, and man, they've been involved in every engagement and war, and man, since back in the 80s. Or whenever they got started, but they are based up at Fort Campbell, and we know that they know how to deal with business, no doubt about it. So it's kind of neat. This is kind of commemorates them, but it's a SIG 5.56, and has this cool folding stock. You know, with the gas piston system, you don't have your buffer tube as you do on an AR-15, and so you can, you don't need anything back there. So that's pretty cool. That makes a pretty small package. I like a folding stock, I have to say. That is pretty cool. And this was lent to us by a loyal viewer who has lent us several firearms. We really appreciate that. We get so much support for the channel, and we don't thank you guys enough, but we really appreciate this loan. This is a nifty gun. I have not fired it extensively, but enough to kind of fall in love with it. I'll tell you what, if you've never fired one of these, you might want to try one sometime. This, you know who the ancestors are of this, don't you? This is essentially kind of the SIG civilian remake of that famous Swiss 551, that the Swiss use. And I mean, it is widely acclaimed and revered. It almost has gained sainthood. I mean, people ask me when I'm going to get one of those. I don't know if that will ever happen in, a select fire version. But this is about as close as you or I can get pretty easily if we can afford it. This runs somewhere around $1,100, $1,200, depending on where you find it. But again, this is the SWAT model. It has the quad rails. The SWAT models have those. And it's kind of, if you're not familiar with the SIG 5.56s, and of course it's a 5.56 caliber too, but the model number on this thing is, as it says right there, you can see it's a SIG 5.56, that's the model, and of course it fires the 5.56 NATO round, SIG SOAR. And we know SIG doesn't make any junk. They make great firearms, and this is essentially kind of a cross between an AR and an AK. What the Swiss really did was they took the AK and kind of improved it, if that's imaginable, and kind of refined it. The Swiss sort of have a knack for making things well. And that was pretty much what, let me show you real quick, before it gets too hot, the gun that is, no chance of getting overheated. Let me show you how this thing works. It is a gas piston system, and let's see, let's take the bolt out. I think we double check it again. We're definitely clear. So we take the bolt handle out, and these pins, like an AR, so in that sense it's like an AR, isn't it? Let's just go ahead and take them both out, and it makes it a little bit easier. Happen to have a bullet handy, and that's all you need, right, to take down a firearm like that. And of course that looks kind of like an AR, isn't it? And we don't need to take that apart anymore. And to take the bolt out, You just use this to push it back. And you will recognize, you AK owners, if you've never messed with one of these, does that look kind of familiar to you? Well, if you have an AK, or you ever messed with an AK bolt, that should look very familiar. Looks like an AK bolt, which it is, a variation of that. In your carrier, except your carrier doesn't have your gas tube, attached to it and everything, until you put it back in here. Here's the back of the piston right there, okay, and it locks it in. What happens is, you can see the bolt handle goes through the bolt carrier, and when it's up in there, and it locks it into the piston, and the pressure, the release of gas up here into it pushes it back and works the bolt. Okay, we won't get too technical. I'm not smart enough to get too technical. Okay, we know it's clear, don't we? I hate pointing something at me, but okay. And this is even designed for me. See where it says up? So when I put this back in, I just make sure up is up. Had me in mind, didn't I? Pretty good. Let's see if I can do this here. I can figure it out. Yeah, and there's your piston, your rod, and your spring, and it encompasses it. And that's it. It's that simple. You take that apart, clean it, back. So that's how it's all. It's very tight tolerances. It's again, it's Swiss. Make sure that's. Uh-oh, I know what I just did. Make sure I've got that in the right position. It has two positions, one for just general, shooting. But if your gun gets really fouled, or you're in very bad conditions, you switch it over, and supposedly it'll operate that way. All right, so we got that. So the groove has to be on the bottom, and see if I can keep from being too fumble fingered here, and get the bolt back in the carrier, and the bolt handle, which latches it all together. Oh boy, look at that. What a genius. Even I did it. Okay, pretty cool. Yeah, I'll tell you, this is dangerous, having so many different firearms to mess with, review, shoot, because I get attached to them. I really do. I like this one. Okay, it's a little heavier because you got your piston system. I've never really owned a piston AR. Some of you have. And you do get a little bit more weight, and you do have that with this. You get a little bit more weight up front. It's not excessive. I've picked up some ARs with huge, heavy, monolithic rails before that. I won't mention companies, but that wow, that's awfully heavy. Just to get that fancy rail, and a lot of them are not. The more expensive ones, I guess. But so this is really, it's heavy, but it's not. It's not like picking up 12 pounds or something there in your left hand. And the neat thing about this is the design of it is they as I understand from the 550, the Swiss military model, that they configured this one, SIG did, so that it would utilize AR-15 magazines. Okay, and that's the beauty. We'll use a PMag here even. And we all can appreciate that, can't we? Because those are the magazines we would want it to use for the 5.56. So we don't have to go around looking for other mags. And so you saw how I took that bolt handle out. You just push that down, and you got ambidextrous mag release here on that side, and over here your bolt locks just on the left. Okay, your safety is right and left. Okay, bolt handles just on the right, so you might have to reach over the gun or whatever, kind of like an AK. You've got they call that a rotary diopter sight. It just spins around if you want kind of a V there to look through, or you want the PEEP, ghost ring I always call it, but I prefer that. And you got your full rail system there, and unlike the original 550s, I understand the military used the rear sight, I think is actually part of the firearm. Here, it's on the rail, so you can change that out, take it off, do what you like with that. You got a standard A2 flash hider up there. What else? You got your quad rails, nice grip, place for cigar there, the folding stock. It's just, as you could tell from looking at it, it's kind of a weird variation of an AK, of a better AK in a lot of ways. It's what a lot of people refer to it as. So I like it so far, and I tell you what, it is a soft shooter. The only thing I don't like here is the AR, standard AR, has the safety in a better position. This one's awkward to get to. Like right here, I can't. I've got to get my hand off basically and to deactivate it. So I'm not sure, why that's that awkward. but it's a little awkward for me on that one. So let's take a couple more shots with it, see if we can hit anything with it. All right. Pretty cool, pretty cool. All right, we're on safe. Now we're on fire. Let's see if it's 2 liter worthy. Nice. Oh man, there's a little bit of pot left there. Let's try the plate again over there. I finally missed it. Okay, we can't quit on them. Oh, I see some cinder block remnants. Boy, this thing is nice. It is sweet. Tell you what. Ooh. Oh, let's see who's close here. Oh man. Running out of, oh, we've got a piece of cinder block here pretty close. I got to be careful on this one. I'm going to hold around the top edge of it. That's tricky because you've got a, y'all know, you got a little bit of a lower bore axis from your sight. So when you're shooting up close, yeah, you can hit some steel that you didn't mean to hit if you're not careful. I'm going back to the plate. Man, this thing is something. Okay, I'm going to just cut loose on this barrel and just see how fast I can shoot it. All right. Okay, let me try that again. I didn't have enough fun. Oh, I have one in my pocket. Forgot. All right. All right, that's enough. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I've about shot all my targets. I'll tell you what, man, I tell you, how many guns are there out there now that I still have not tried that I'm going to want? I'm like a kid in a candy store. This is pretty neat. The trigger, I didn't say anything about the trigger. The trigger is really nice. This is right out of the box. It's got a sweet trigger. Very sweet, short reset. It's unusual. It doesn't feel anything like an AR trigger. Just a really nice trigger. That's one reason I had trouble missing the plate. Sometimes I have trouble hitting the red plate, but with this one I had trouble missing it. And the soft impulse, it really is about like shooting 22 Magnum or something, or 22 long rifle. I know we say that all the time, but with the weight of this thing and that piston system, it is an extremely soft shooter. It really is. So if you've ever, I don't know, I guess all of the SIG 5.56s have a similar feel to them, unless you have a shorter one maybe, a little bit less weight. But these are quality pieces of hardware. They really are. And I am so glad to be able to bring one to you. And I think it's cool what this one commemorates, the good old NightStalkers that help take care of us. Life is good.